It's Thursday, the 2nd of February, 2023. Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories in 5 minutes. Let's jump into it. Story number 1 is a bit shocking, really. The Reserve Bank thinks that close to 900,000 people will be hit by higher mortgage rates in coming years as a result of rolling off fixed rate loans. That won't be good for house prices, which we found out yesterday continue to decline at their fastest pace in more than 40 years.
Yes, a couple of senior Reserve bankers yesterday said that the bank had estimated that the number of mortgage holders to roll from fixed to variable rate loans in the next couple of years was in the high 800,000s. Now, that's much higher than the Parliamentary Library estimate of around 500,000 next year and 140,000 the year after. This came on the day that the CoreLogic National Home Price figures were released. They show that in January, prices were down another 1% across the country and 1.1% across capital cities. Now, the capital cities are down nearly 10% on average since April last year. Rising mortgage rates are the key driver of the slump. The bad news is that many of those higher home lending rates are yet to kick in. People simply can't afford to spend as much now as they could 12 months ago. House prices are falling faster than unit prices because units are more affordable. Regional prices are holding up okay. Hobart was worse last month, down 1.7%. Brisbane prices fell 1.4%. But from the peak in April to the trough now, Sydney and Melbourne have fallen most. With rates rising, little hope of a turnaround anytime soon, but things will eventually turn. What happens is that you get this migration. There's boom and migration going on now. You get a rental squeeze. Things will turn around, but probably not anytime soon.
Okay, all right, on to story number 2 now, Sean, and it's all about political donations. Mining magnate and former politician Clive Palmer was the biggest individual donor last year, with his company Mineralogy donating nearly $117 million to his own United Australia Party.
Didn't turn out that well, that one. They ended up with one Victorian Senate seat, and that's it. Now, cardboard and recycling king Anthony Pratt was a big donor, always is. He provided nearly $4 million to the big parties. About half of that went towards Labor's victorious election campaign. Some of the unions were big donors as well, so too the Pharmacy Guild of Australia and law firm Morris Blackburn. One of the interesting ones, Michael, online platform Airtasker was among the top 10 donors, giving Labor $110,000.
Yeah, that's a bit of a surprise. Sean, story number 3, this is an interesting one. Australians cancelled more than 1.3 million video streaming accounts in the December quarter, really as those cost of living pressures and inflation hit household budgets hard.
Yes. Research company Kantar's Entertainment on Demand survey found 6.1 million Australian households subscribe to at least one streaming service, according to a report in the Financial Review. That's about 60% of the country, Michael. Now, the proportion of Australians with Netflix fell for the 4th consecutive term, but it is still the monster. Almost 70% of people who have streaming have Netflix. It's the dominant platform by far, followed by Amazon Prime at 33% and Disney Plus at 31%. The number of cancellations was led by Apple TV, which had a 22% churn rate. Optus Sport, YouTube Premium, they weren't so good either.
Sean, story number 4, things are ramping up in Canberra, with Labor yesterday saying that it will push ahead with the second tranche of its industrial relations agenda this year.
Yes, this is going to be a big story for the next 12 months. Workplace Relations Minister Tony Burke will meet next week with a bunch of interest groups, Business Council of Australia, the ACTU, the Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the small business peak body, to consult on legislation to be introduced in the second half of the year. A bunch of controversial notions in this one. Same job, same pay being one. The definition of a casual employee. How to deal with the gig economy, wage theft, minimum standards for people like long-haul drivers, having a low-cost way to deal with disputes for independent contracts, and protections against discrimination. We're going to hear plenty about it.
Yeah, we sure will. Final one, Sean. Story number 5. Boeing yesterday delivered its last 747 at a ceremony in Washington state to cargo carrier Atlas Air. It officially ends 53 years of production of the Queen of the Skies.
The plane, when it was introduced at the Paris Air Show back in 1969, pretty much captured the spirit of the jet age, and through its capacity, efficiency and range helped make a commercial flight affordable. You know, people say the 747 democratized air travel, and I think it's true. Over 5 decades, Boeing built 1,574 747s for more than 100 customers. The tail is about 6 stories high, travels the length of 3 football fields in a second, and the largest version could transport more than 500 passengers. A truly incredible flight. Production's been going backwards for years, though, as the market gradually shifted to favour more efficient twin-engine jets for even the long-haul routes. Still, sad to see the last one roll off the production line.
Yeah, it sure is. There we go, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Thursday, the 2nd of February, 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. If 5 minutes isn't enough for you, you can find our longer daily show as well, called Fear and Greed, wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to check out our other podcast, How Do They Afford That?, which is all about making your money work a little bit harder for you. This week's episode is all about Frugal February. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.